What is something that everyone accepts as normal that scares you? Being exploited at work. Working free overtime hours, having short lunches, not using their full tower. Humans, we are better than this. Dude, I work at Target and coworkers make fun of me for taking my 15-minute break or lunch too early and not staying late to finish when finishing means working a 9-10 hour day. Some of them actually skip their paid 15-minute breaks so they can get done on time. Like, you'll care about the company way too much. Let the work sit there if they don't feel like hiring enough people to get it done. I've got kids and college classes and hobbies. Yes, I'm leaving on time. I'm the only person in my department that takes my 10-minute breaks consistently. I've actually had some of my coworkers make snide comments about it. My boss is all for it though. He has actually commented on how punctual I am. I clock in at 8. I take a break at 10. Lunch from 12 to 1. Another break at 3. And I leave at 5. Almost perfectly. Every single day. He's told me that it actually helps him realize roughly what time it is. You should get a second pay rise for also working as a clock. I'll print out your comment to strengthen my argument. Having the news on all day long. I avoid 24H news channels because they tend to go look for the smallest stuff and make huge deals about it. Hell, news about one particular event going on for weeks is hell enough for me. Covered isn't the worst I've seen. I'm talking political stuff here. Like, they keep looking for more drama to talk about. And then people are surprised that younger generations are getting more depressed, and some even avoid talking politics anymore. Well, no shit. I hate conflict and drama. If I see any of it, I nope the F away. People love to say you are in control of your life. But when you are being bullied, people say just ignore it, and it will go away. Now you are relying on the bullies to get bored with you, which may take years. It's also not true when people say that you'll forget about it once you become an adult. People don't understand that bullying is a traumatic experience, which trauma sticks with you for a long time and will possibly never go away. For some people, the memories of childhood bullying instills the fear of being bullied again as an adult in the workplace. Yeah, people act like bullying is solely a kid's thing, but there are plenty of adult bullies around too. Saying no or telling someone I don't want to do something. Setting boundaries. Stuff like that is hard to do. I keep thinking of how I'm disappointing the person, hurting their feelings, or making them angry. I work at a casino, and back in February I was asked to stay like a half hour later of my shift, going to overtime late at night. Of course it's impossible for me to remember how I was on that one specific day, but I could only guess that I was exhausted, not feeling well, or was in pain from standing, that I said no. I must have been pestered, because I apparently later said yes, then changed my mind, and asked to go home at my planned time. Well, comes August, and I get my yearly review. Apparently that one moment was such an offensive moment that it completely tarnished my rating for being helpful and a team player and completely overshadowed the dozens of times I've gone out of my way to be helpful to others, despite it never coming up again until then. And apparently it goes 2 hours for them to determine my raise. And of course they are not going to have any context, unlike these supervisors. But I'm still considering going back to complain how it was handled, because I consider it absolutely absurd. When all those kids in Pinocchio turned into donkeys, that one kid crying for his mama before barking like a donkey terrified me as a kid. I'm very curious how they are going to do it for the live action version. They'll probably use CG instead of really turning them into donkeys. AWW. I was hoping for some magic. I was thinking more of experimental surgery, but I guess there might be ethical issues involved. The rapid increase in mass surveillance combined with the gathering and use of biometric data. I'm not usually a doomsday conspiracy theorist, but sprinkle a little advanced AI on top of that, and I'll go make myself a nice tinfoil hat. Watching our rights slowly get taken away, and people consider it normal is definitely one of my great terrors. Like privacy. I mean, less than half a century ago people would have considered it conspiracy theories to say that companies know everything about you, your location and shit, and they sell your data all around. On that note, There's a book called The Circle that is basically like a modern version of 1984. It's terrifying. And the reason so is because I could actually see it happening. Bootifouav not high ng to high d. W high doyu carry. Fuck everyone who uses this dumbus reasoning to hand wave mass surveillance and data harvesting for the express purpose of turning people into data points. Because information about you can be used against you. From the burglars who check the bits to decide where to break into, to con artists looking to craft an appropriate scam. Get a windfall? Paints a target on you. Link to a friend on Facebook. A picture they have of you keeps you from getting a job. Mention your first pet's name on Facebook. Hope it wasn't a security question. The less about you that's out, the less ammo there is to be used against you. The government that decides your DNA sequence is too costly, or demographic is a statistical dead end. So collective resources shouldn't be shared. To the corporation with actuarials determining if your life is worth living or not, and resolving the data, including insurance carriers. To the mid-size multinationals determining you and your family's life events based on consumer purchases and emailing you advertisements, such as your dad, after you made a purchase at the corner of a pregnancy test, based on your family profile advertisements on newborns, is sent to your dad. However you had an abortion. This really happened. Fuck the fear of petty criminals, the terror lies in the everyday, normalized use of surveillance. That you should have a career/future planned out for yourself before you finish high school. Why do people do this? As if people don't change as they grow, and that your ambitions stay the same. You expect teens to decide what they're gonna do with their lives before they can even drive? How can I even know what I want to do for the rest of my life until I've lived in the world? Or just know what you don't know? I have finally, at least for now, found a career I absolutely love. However, I didn't even know it existed until 3 years ago, 7 years after turning 18. To expect every teen to know exactly what they want to do for the next 5 years, much more the rest of their lives, is absolutely ridiculous. I have now a career in a field that did not exist when I finished school. I failed university and found my path in the debris, so to speak. I never thought that would be possible. I think young people should try more than just one thing and need to learn to adapt as they evolve and grow. I think, like Americans often do, to put a lot of money into a university career is a huge risk. Some people have their path in their head and follow it. I never had that, and I should have tried out more stuff first. Others I know just finished any uni degree and then found their path, and having a degree opens doors. If I could redo everything, I would probably try to get the, for me, easiest, quickest degree in any university and then carve my own path from there. Teenagers having depression. So often, I see adolescents struggling with depression or other mental health concerns, only for them to be brushed off as mood swings or teenage angst. Nobody wants to take action for those kids until it's too late, and I wish that would change. I always wonder how different my life would have become if I had gotten help with my depression as a kid. No, my mom would just tell me to quit being so grouchy, so I learned to hide my feelings. I must have been 12 or 13 the first time I told my dad I thought I should see a therapist. He just said everybody gets sad. Didn't get help until I was around 18 and texted my mom out of desperation. She called my school and the counselor gave me a how suicidal are you exam. I overheard the phone call between the counselor and my dad. His office is on the other side of my bedroom wall. I scored somewhere around how is this kid not dead already on the test, and had an emergency psychiatrist appointment within a week. I'm still very far from mentally healthy, and it's affected my life deeply. I often wonder what my life would be like if I had gotten help earlier. The fact that most of the current generation of working people in this country won't be able to have their own homes. I know a couple that will finally have paid off their home after retirement. It's a real shame. And it's not in America either. This is a worldwide issue for some reason. Europeans and the Japanese have it just as bad. Honestly, it's horrendous in Ireland now, especially Dublin. For a mortgage for a first time buyer you need at least 10% deposit, but you only can borrow 3-5 times your wage. So someone on say 30k, which is in or around average-ish can only get 90k. The average house price in Dublin now is probably close to 400k. It's not even worth trying for most of us. You could move down the country for slightly cheaper housing. But on top of that, virtually all the jobs are in Dublin. So you'd end up commuting, which would take all your time and money anyway. There was someone in /r/Ireland recently that said the bank wouldn't give them a loan, which would end up costing less monthly than their current rent, because they couldn't prove they'd be able to pay it back. It's absolutely fucked. Not surprised. Rent ATM is more expensive than it was in the Celtic Tiger era. Literal fucking insanity. Yup. Lived 4 years, and so in Ireland, Cork, was paying €750 a month for a double bedroom and a house share. I now live in Tokyo, not city center though, in the suburbs. I pay $700 a month for a 4 rooms apartment. Tells a lot about how fucked is the situation in Ireland right now.